You know, some days I just have to really sit down, evaluate my life, think about what I'm doing, where I could possibly be going, why I choose to do some certain things that I end up doing, and today's one of those days. But what is going on, peeps? Welcome back to this week's brand new video. This one's probably going to be out a little bit late, maybe late Friday, but it's fine. You're here, we're together. And now quickly before I forget, for all of you asking, the Lucky Charms competition is still running. I'll have all the updates at the very end of this video, so either fast forward or just wait for that if you're interested. But anyways, there are certain recipes out there that are just iconic. They're just the embodiment of the internet. And this is definitely one of them. Thank you to everyone out there over the past few months who has suggested this this mirror cake to me. Hopefully it will come out even more reflective than all the sweat on my forehead from this 95-degree basement I'm in. And if my dear friend Corinne's video is any indication, this is not gonna be easy, so let's get right into it. Now, if you guys thought that I was gonna try to one-up Corinne or just try to match her and make my own homemade cake, no, that's not happening here. I'm trying to give myself the highest chances for this cake as a whole to work. So yes, I'm using a boxed store-bought cake. List all your grievances in the comments. I just combined all the necessary ingredients that was listed on the back of the box, mixed it up, poured in some cake trays. I'm sure 99% of you have done this before, so I don't need to explain every step. And about 40 minutes later, just like that, our cakes are complete. Now, I gave those about 30 minutes to cool down, and then what I had to do was trim off the top and the bottom to thin out the cakes, because the whole thing combined has to be less than the springform pan, which I think is 3 inches tall. So I just did that really quick. I trimmed around all the edges to remove all the browning, and then we can move on to the next step, which is to grab that same pan that we cooked the cakes in, layer the bottom with a bunch of seedless strawberry jam, carefully press one of our carbs cakes onto the top of that jam, and then throw it in the freezer for at least a couple hours. In the meantime, we can begin to work on what I think is gonna be the highest risk of failure, the white chocolate mousse. Begin by chopping up about 7 ounces or 8 ounces of the white chocolate. Make sure this is actual chocolate and not like candy melt or something oil based. I learned that from you guys the hard way in the past. And then onto another step that I have epically failed in the past. I've separated 8 yolks from the egg whites and then beat those only about halfway to stiff peaks. At that point, you want to add in your sugar. I think it was about a 1/4 cup, and just continue beating that for another minute or two until it gets frothy and airy. Now set that aside for now and begin to heat up 1½ cups of heavy cream until it begins to steam right about here, and then slowly add in half of that hot cream into the eggs. I feel like this whole process is just a culmination of everything that I've once failed in the past. Either way, once I mixed half of that cream into the eggs, you can slowly combine that entire mixture back in the pan with the rest of the cream. Now you just gotta heat this entire thing over low heat until it says it can cover the back of a spoon without falling off too much. Then added in my chopped up white chocolate, mix that until that all melted together. And once you transfer it to a bowl with some plastic wrap across the top, you have to throw that into the fridge to let the whole mixture set. I'd say I let that sit for about an hour, and then right at the very end, I started to whip up 2 more cups of heavy cream, and then little by little started to slowly fold that heavy cream into the set egg mixture. This unfortunately happens to be giving me some very vivid memories of our failure jiggly cheesecake. If this comes out any better than that, I will be happy. And now that that is complete, we can essentially throw the entire cake together and get it frozen up. Layer number 1 is one of your 2 cakes that you leveled off, and then cover that with half of the white chocolate mousse mixture. Then into that you want to lay your frozen jam and second cake, which may or may not have cracked while I was constructing it before. Which, by the way, to get this jam out of the pan was an actual nightmare. I thought it was frozen enough, I guess not. I just did the best I could here, and then covered that whole thing with more of the white chocolate mousse and tried to level out the top along our springform pan. Side note, I don't know if this is normal, but I had a ton of the mousse left over that I just left in the fridge. Regardless, once I got that leveled off, I threw it into the freezer, and you gotta leave that overnight. I left mine for about 10 hours. And finally, onto the very last thing we have to construct for this cake, the mirror glaze. Start with 300 milliliters of water in a pan over medium heat. Toss in 1½ cups of white sugar, a whole can of sweetened condensed milk, mix that all together, and then bring it to a boil. Now once it hits a boiling point, I put on a timer for 1 minute and let that cook through, and then took it off of the heat. Now is gonna be probably the most controversial part of the whole video, and it's probably gonna make up 90% of the top comments, so brace yourselves. In Tasty's video, they used 15 sheets of clear gelatin. I could not find this anywhere, and ain't nobody got time to wait 3 to 5 business days for this to get delivered off Amazon. So what I did was try to do a conversion of sheets to gelatin packets, and every blog I read said it was about 3 gelatin sheets per packet of powdered gelatin. This equates to 4 in total, so I bloomed the powder in about 1/3 of a cup of water. By the way, for anyone curious out there who wants to be enlightened, gelatin is probably one of the most repulsive baking or cooking ingredients ever. It's basically crushed up animal bones and marrow and nasty, disgusting things, which is why it stinks so bad. And now that you're all probably traumatized out there, I threw the bloomed gelatin into our water and condensed milk mixture and mixed that up until it all melted down and combined. And finally, for anyone who wants to know what $30 worth of white chocolate looks like, this is it. You need 26 ounces of white chocolate in total. I chopped it all up the best that I could, added that into a blender, and then poured our hot mixture over the top of that. They of course used an immersion blender in the video. I am not classy like that, I don't have one. After about 5 minutes of sitting, I gave that a few quick pulses until all that chocolate was thoroughly combined into our mix, and this is already actually looking pretty good. To finish it off, I tossed in about a 1/4 teaspoon of yellow icing color, and that turned into a beautiful silky school bus yellow. And once I poured that through a sieve a few times to remove any bubbles, it is the moment of truth. I grabbed the cake out of the freezer, which is now looking completely set. I carefully removed it from the springform pan, and it is looking beautiful already. I threw down a cookie sheet, the used sweetened condensed milk can, the cake on top of that, and can I get a drum roll please? Apparently, once your mix hits 96 degrees Fahrenheit, it is ready to be poured. I carefully glazed that over the top of the cake, and it is looking so good, guys. I am so pleasantly surprised with how this is looking right now. It's coming out nice and even. It's already looking shiny and reflective. I did notice a little bit of the white chocolate mousse melting off the corners, so it wasn't as clean of an edge as I would have liked. But no matter really, I just quickly trimmed off any excess once that whole mixture set. I threw on some nice strawberries on top, and then because it was melting a little bit more than I would have liked, I threw the whole thing in the fridge for about an hour to hopefully just finish up setting. Now, does anyone out there remember certain YouTubers who were just climbing the YouTube charts? They were killing it. Every single day they were passing more YouTubers, they were doing so well, everyone thought they were amazing, their numbers were doing crazy good, and then abruptly it just all came to a screeching halt and crashed and burned? Well, yeah. I don't know what in God's name happened to this cake in the hour that I left it in the fridge, but it looks disgusting. The top is like this gelatinous, sticky, slimy something. When I cut it, it bursted out of the side like a pus ball or something. Ugh. I'm starting to gag rewatching this back with you guys. This thing is looking like an actual mess, and needless to say, I am not too thrilled about trying it. What in the world? I am actually stunned, borderline speechless for how many hours and how much anticipation resulted in this. It smells good. It smells like a bakery or something, but could this potentially be one of the most epic fails on the history of this channel? I think it might qualify. So I just got the mousse, the cake, and the jam, and that was okay. That tasted decent. I would rather do so many other things than try this nasty yellow gelatinous slime throw up. I'm gonna do it for you guys though. Not a lot. Oh, I need water. Oh, no. Like, I'm about to start gagging. I can't remember anything in the history of this show that tastes that bad. I'm talking about the glaze now, the glaze. It literally tastes like how gelatin smells when you like heat it up in a microwave or something, with a slight hint of sugar. What a shame, guys. This whole thing is going in the trash. If you know why this failed as epically as it did, feel free to let me know, but as this is, can I give it like a -10, -100 maybe? Ugh. I hope you guys enjoyed my pain and suffering. If you did, leave a like. I don't know how many we should hit, just leave a like for me. Now, for those of you who are curious about the Lucky Charms giveaway, first of all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave the link in the description from a few videos ago. I'm giving away a bunch of these boxes. I'm going to do a live stream on Instagram. Let me check the date. On Sunday, June 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Time. I don't know what that is in Europe, I'm sorry. And I'm very literally just gonna scroll through my Instagram comments and pick out just 10 random comments. I'll DM you guys, ask you for your mailing address and all this stuff, and you'll get one because I can't stand to look at them anymore. Also, for any of you curious, this is open to the entire world. If I'm able to send you a box of this and it will get to you successfully, I'm gonna send it. I don't really care about shipping costs. If you have any more questions about it or anything, just comment on this video. I'm gonna try to read through the majority of them, or DM me on Instagram. I always read all of those. Other than that though, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you right back here probably on Sunday first, or if not, I'll see you right back here for the next brand new video. Hopefully it don't turn out like this.